Last night was an objectively, I don't know what to do with this. I'm so excited. Last night was an objectively great night for President Trump and an objectively bad night for the Democrats. You can say what you want about either side, but last night, there was one clear narrative that no one could deny and no Democrat seemed able to defend. This is how the night started, so let's just get right into it.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
Heck yeah. That guy's arm. Just the half people clapping will never get old, as you'll notice in this episode. And then it turns into a USA chant. And America is back was quickly trending then on X. So right off the jump, it was great. The vibes were high. Things were going well. And then this happened.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
I love how when this heckling starts, because you can just hear something, Trump doesn't even look. You see Vance and Speaker Johnson looking, but Trump's like, I have a speech to give. So they start the USA chant again. What is this?
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525. On a map that...
I love that. He doesn't even want to address it. He's just like, get him out.
On a map that reads almost completely red for Republican.
He points at the not Republican, which we'll get into in a second, and just says Republican. Also, you just see Johnson in the back like prepping for what's going to happen next because they know that obviously they're going to have to address this because the individual that was heckling did not stop.
Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever.
Again, listen to what Trump's saying as his heckling is happening. The most ever, and he looks directly at the person heckling.
Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Now he's talking about small businesses and the gains that are going on, and this person is still heckling.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
So he's giving him warnings. I mean, it's treating him like a toddler, which he should be. You get a warning, you get another warning. I'm threatening to kick you out, which is what he's doing right here. They haven't yet. But wait.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order.
Out. Gone. Goodbye.
Gentlemen from the chamber.
And that was just the first 5 minutes. So that pleasant person was Al Green. He's a congressman from Texas, and he obviously heckled his way right out of chambers. Now, he was quickly interviewed right after that. The reporters were asking him, well, why did you do this? Why were you heckling? And he justified his outbursts, again, plural, many of them, by saying that, well, Trump isn't civil, so I decided not to be civil here. And he was specifically calling out Medicaid in that little outburst that you couldn't really hear, which made no sense because, as you could all see, they weren't even talking about Medicaid. They were talking about small businesses. They were talking about how Trump won in a landslide victory. And this was the time Al Green was like, shut up, at least wait for your moment to shine to be stupid. But no, he had to do it right then and there, making, frankly, the left look very bad. So, thanks. This is how Harry Sisson tried to justify this outburst. He tweeted and said, Donald Trump just said he brought free speech back to America. This comes just moments after he kicked Representative Al Green out for calling him out for attacking Medicaid. They don't actually like free speech. This has nothing to do with free speech. What Harry forgets to remember is that we like law and order, too. So when an adult man, a sitting member of Congress, has been given multiple opportunities to take his seat and refuses, he gets removed for not following decorum. That is protocol, that is normal, that is not anti-free speech. It's just not the time and the place to be making stupid outbursts. Stupid. Okay, sorry, next thing. Here's another part of the speech when Trump called out Peyton McNabb, who is the volleyball player who was hit in the face by a ball from a transgender athlete. And then she ended up suffering from brain damage as a result of it. And she has become vocal alongside of Riley Gaines to advocate for women's sports, which is what Trump is talking about here.
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
Heck yeah. I just want to show this part at the end because there's Riley, Matt, and Ben. They were also there, which is very cool. The icons of this women's rights movement, which is fantastic that they got to be there. Of course, the Dems didn't clap for that young woman, and I'm not surprised given the fact that just a few days ago, all of the Democratic senators just got finished voting against the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. It's honestly more so just sad to see that not a single one of them is willing to face the biological reality regarding sports, even with a young woman in the audience who has permanent brain damage as a result of this problem. The Democrats also refused to stand when Laken Riley's family was recognized for the Laken-Riley Act. So Trump reminds the American people what happened to Laken. Her family's sitting right there, and then at the end, they say this.
With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren.
Just seeing them, like... The only time I've ever seen them before right now is this dash cam video from the police officer who found Laken, which is the most horrific footage ever to just watch, like, them find, like, not find her, but they come to the scene. None of the left clap for them.
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
Just look at that for a moment. We are talking about an act that was passed as a result of a young woman being murdered at the hands of an illegal alien. I'm gonna read specifically what this act is, but just get this image ingrained into your mind. No one is standing. No one is supporting it. This should be common sense. The act specifically requires U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain and repatriate illegal aliens who commit theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assault against police officers, and crimes that result in serious bodily harm or death. Why is that controversial? I would love to know. Even if you're the most pro-illegal immigration person in that room, why is that not something that we all stand for? And again, the family is sitting in the room and you have the audacity to be like, don't care. We're watching. America is watching. And speaking of another moment that could serve as a brief moment of shared emotion and unity, here is a young man who absolutely stole the show last night. He is so precious. And I just want to show you exactly how this moment unfolded.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Dad just lifts him up.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him. The police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
He holds up and then he gets the badge. This is the most wholesome moment of the entire night right there. And then they all start chanting his name. I mean, oh gosh. The hug. Aww. Someone said, I'm not crying, you're crying. We're all crying. We're all crying. I'm not, because I've already watched this like 5 times. I'm really trying to keep it together for the sake of my makeup, but it's precious. Another person said, and Democrats still did not stand and clap. If you are a human being and you watch that and you feel nothing, then something is wrong with you. That is objectively a precious moment that should be celebrated.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
To not stand for that moment is asinine to me. Absolutely asinine. I would love to watch these addresses like even 10 years ago. When there was an objectively good moment that happened in the chamber, does everyone stand? Is there a moment where everyone claps? Because to watch these now and just it's dead silence on one side and just jubilance on the other side, like that feels so off. And so scary, frankly. I bet it wasn't always like that. Clapping doesn't necessarily show your support and allegiance to Trump. Sometimes it just shows that you're a human being with a heart. Speaking of the members of Congress who weren't standing and clapping, here is one of them in pink. Her name is Representative Melanie Stansbury, and she tweeted this of the night. This is not normal. And that is her in pink with a sign that says, this is not normal, next to Trump. It's such an embarrassing visual, and it's also so funny that she thinks this is such a flex that she tweeted about it and was like, wow, look at me. I'm calling out Trump for not being normal. Your behavior is also not normal, Melanie. You look immature, which is a theme of the night. Throughout the course of this evening, I had to keep zooming out to remember that they are in the House of Representatives in our nation's capital, and yet they are acting like toddlers. Everyone just brought little signs and whiteboards. Like, what are we doing? What we should be doing is taking care of our health, and that is why I love using Armor Colostrum. If you're like me, you're always on the lookout for immune strength. Well, I recently discovered an incredible product, Armor Colostrum, and I cannot wait to continue to see all of the health benefits. Armor is the gift that keeps on giving. If you don't know, colostrum is the milk that cows produce right after giving birth. It is incredibly rich in nutrients and antibodies. It's basically like drinking liquid gold. It also tastes like drinking liquid gold, or at least how I imagine it. Now, Armor has boiled this down into a powder to help your skin, lungs, and gut barriers. Armor Colostrum optimizes your microbiome and activates cellular health and performance to revive whole body health. I love the taste of my vanilla Armor Colostrum. I literally consume it daily. It tastes so good. I put it in smoothies, I put it in cold drinks, and it also is very good to actually keep me hydrated because I hate drinking liquids. But Armor, I actually stay hydrated with my other cold drinks that I add my Armor to, and my body stays healthy with all of the nutrients that Armor provides. I also love that Armor is natural and it's made from grass-fed cows. Armor products are clean, safe, backed by extensive research, and manufactured under the most rigorous testing and quality standards in CGMP and FDA-certified facilities. With our environment involving and everyday chemicals, pollutants, and pathogens and processed ingredients threatening our mental and physical state, our bodies need protection now more than ever. So if you guys want to give Armor a try, you can get 15% off your first order. All you have to do is go to tryarmor.com/Conrad or enter Conrad at checkout to get 15% off your first order. That's tryarmor.com/Conrad today. You can be an adult. You can take care of your health, unlike these people who were not acting like adults at all. Another woman pointed that out and she said, "You are acting like a child, not a member of Congress. Sad day in this country when not one of you stood up for Laken Riley's mother and sister. Shame on each of you." Another person responded to that "it's not normal" tweet and he said, "What's not normal is letting men play in women's sports." Yes, correct. Another woman called this out and said, "What is not normal?" And then she posted the photo of none of the Democrats standing for Laken Riley and her grieving family. That's not normal. However, though, moments later, that sign was removed from another member of Congress, I believe. He's greeting everyone in the beginning. Then she's just holding up the sign awkwardly, like next to... Just wait. That guy just reached out and grabs the sign. throws the sign, and that girl does nothing. That's a weird, like, inhuman response. The guy grabs it out, throws it, and the woman just, no change. At least, like, fight back or be mad. Like, do something to remind me that you're a human. Like, what's going on? One person who didn't like that move, though, commented and said, let her look like an idiot with her sign, ripping it out of her hands. You just stooped lower than her, which I would argue is not the case. I thought that was really funny and fitting, given the behavior. Like, that's not stooping low. We're not throwing fists here. Like, what are you talking about? Someone else said, did the GOP finally grow a pair? I do believe in 2025, 2024, we started growing a pair. Well, not we. Them. They did. No jokes. Someone else said, yay, but the sign made a good point. Trump is not normal. Thank God. Yeah, we didn't want normal. We didn't vote for normal. There's a reason for that. We voted for a man to do something like this, calling out the abnormal and absurd spending of our federal government, which Trump happily did last night.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation.
He'd like get through that LGBTQI. That's me when I'm trying to read that here. Gotta get through all the letters.
$60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program.
And that's just half. It just keeps going. It's so funny to hear Trump listing it off. He's like, yep, no one knows what that is. I think what's so infuriating is you hear these numbers and in one breath, you could just be like, well, that's, millions of dollars, whatever. It's our money. Have you ever looked at your paycheck? How much money goes to our federal government? I mean, this is why we get so angry about this kind of thing. We pay for them. So we pay for those stupid actions. Duh. So we should know what is happening to circumcision in Mozambique. Like, and then we shouldn't be paying for it because it makes no freaking sense. Someone said, Trump's right. Americans have been getting robbed blind. Correct, which is why we are celebrating this. Finally seeing the light. Unreal list. How could anyone support that waste? I don't know. I don't even think they fully support this, but they kind of have to because they can't support Trump, of course. One woman said, oh, the beautiful irony here is that they don't hold up the side that says false while he lists off the scams. Because they all know that what he's saying is actually true. And this is a sign because, again, a lot of the people had these little bingo signs they would hold up that says, like, Musk steals, save Medicaid, false. There's a whiteboard. I guess it was their way to fact check him in real time. I don't know. Now, in a post-game recap of the big fight night that happened in our nation's capital, the Dems were mad at their performance, which I was surprised to see. Refreshing. They understood how bad they looked.
How they gonna snatch your back, Michael, when they holding up bingo or auction signs?
I was gonna say, thank you, Simone.
Can we talk about it?
The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership.
Wow. No one liked it. Again, it wasn't being debated. It was like, no, this was a bad move. The bingo signs were objectively stupid, and now they are just ripe with memes all over the internet, which has been very entertaining, to say the least. Here was another Dem over on X pointing out how unpleased he was with the night's events. He said, I love my party, but tonight was a new low. I get silence on this or that policy, and the raw politics of the base's anger. But for not a single Dem to stand to applaud a boy's brave battle with cancer or a man's admission to West Point was a classless disgrace. And maddeningly, while overall Trump's speech was politically good, there were political holes that could have been exploited, juvenile taunts that voters hate, and comical lies. But much of that will be buried by our own self-inflicted stupidity. I guess they weren't really fixing those political holes on their little whiteboards they were holding up. They were too busy just being like, lie, Not true. Musk seals. We don't trust you. We don't care. Another person commented under that and said, eye-opening, or should be. I'm a former Democrat, and what I've seen over the last few years is a total disgrace and total classless. Zero humanity, all performance, which is the theme of this night. They didn't act like human beings. The party that doesn't stand for widows, orphans, or DJ. What does it stand for? Another person posted this photo and said, the Republican Party is now this. Heck yeah, it is. That's what I'm talking about. But even here, even in that moment with young DJ, according to an MSNBC journalist, she allowed herself to feel joy for that moment, but was quickly sobered up by this statement. But then she admitted this was just a crazy thing to say on air.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years.
Yeah.
Right?
It could have stopped there. She allowed herself to feel joy in that moment because, like I said, you can just act like a human sometimes. Not everything has to be political. But then she says this.
And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
What an insane thing to say. Why are you bringing Jan 6 into this? Literally why? It has nothing to do with this young man. Nothing. But they can't accept anything that's good. They have to do stuff like this. And because that was such an effed up thing to say regarding that young man, I wanted to end the episode with him in his own words, because this was precious. And I can just say it's precious, then I have to go on and say something stupid right after it.
I had 13 brain surgeries, and that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. They have 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. And I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today.
He sounds so mature.
He sounds so mature.
He sounds like a 38-year-old police officer.
Yeah, he clearly has been raised right and is proud of this country and proud to be a police officer and is just excited to do that in any capacity right now. Like as a kid, like it's so cute. And so if we can't stand up and cheer for a young man like that and his miraculous story of survival, what kind of country are we? To those who are so blinded by rage that you truly can't even take a moment to appreciate the good in the world, well, shame on you. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. And last but not least, if you want more content, you can follow me on X and Instagram. Thanks so much and have a great day.